Part 2, update ending to the flying one, Part 1 down below. I told her today was D-Day a week or so ago. She has messed with me at every opportunity since I found out. She surprised me on Thanksgiving. I had a bad, emotional, had just gotten my act together, came downstairs to hang with my kids. Phone rings and it's her. Mind you, she told my twins it's Dad's choice this year if we are coming over for Thanksgiving, and they answered, "Great, see you Thursday." I didn't know about that, and when I found out I texted her to see if she was coming. She went off on me some crap about I have been clear for the better part of 2 months we will not be coming to Thanksgiving. Really? The better part of 2 months plus us at a time we were doing perfectly fine, and who is thinking about Thanksgiving in September? Whatever, she is constantly making up false timelines. I sent her a copy of the text to my girls. She just went off and the conversation ended. So, I'm sitting alone on Thanksgiving, the phone rings, it's her. Wish I could say I didn't want totally to her, but the way she ghosted me has had me all screw up for weeks. I answered and she said, "Can I come over for a few minutes?" I said yes. She showed up, handed me a plant, and hugged me like I was going to die tomorrow. I hugged her back, it felt good. I miss her. She said she wanted to talk, so I said come upstairs into the bedroom where it's private. We sat on the floor. She said I was supposed to come here today to tell you I don't love you and it's over, I can't do that. She said she loves me. It felt good to hear. She was emotional, and I haven't been able to turn off my feelings, so we talked for about 20 minutes. She said she is dating this guy I had pegged for months, acting like it is fresh out of the laundry. She said she kissed him but made bad face and said I just knew it wasn't romantic. Mind you, I didn't believe a damn word of that. She left, kept my ring, and the whole thing bothered me all day. I felt played. I reached out to her late that evening and said I want to talk. She didn't want to. She called me the next time and was like a different person. Mean as a snake, vile, yelling, just awful. Hung up on me and made my decision about everything much easier. I composed a lengthy email to her and the guy, set some things straight, polite, abrupt, pointed, hit send, then blocked her on all platforms I can think of. I feel a great sense of relief, and I am 100% sure she will regret the impulsive stupidity of what she has done, the relationships she has ruined. It will just take some time. I read a bit on midlife crises for women. Looks like she fits all the criteria. Good luck to the golden boy. They only last 2 to 5 years of garbage, unpredictability, low drive. Sounds like fun. Don't get me wrong here, I still spontaneously cry out of sheer frustration for having worked so hard to get through raising kids, thinking I had a perfect companion, only to be completely blindsided on the goal line. Will take a long, long time for me to trust someone with my heart again. I'd be willing to bet never. Sad but true. So hard for me to wrap my head around. I saw no signs of any disorder, and my ex was definitely BPD. My daughter may be as well, but I can see now from a different vantage point that there is clearly some validity. It doesn't change the fact that I am in shock, and my heart is so damn broken I don't know how to get through each day. I need an infidelity support group, medication, or both. I'm not in a good way and there is no fix other than time. I'm just broken. I have never cried like this in my life. I am 54, just left my last 2 kids at college. I'm all alone and had my future kind of figured out. Everything fell apart like a bomb hit, and I don't know which direction to even crawl in. I am pretty messed up. You can't just shut off love and deep emotion in one day, but I have been telling myself she is never going to be a part of my life again every single hour of the day. I am trying to picture the summer, in a new place, maybe even with a new woman, smiling again. I blocked her on all accounts, and I will not unblock her. I haven't blocked then unblocked so far. Yesterday was a big day for me in moving forward. Today I tell my kids, with the exception of my son, who loves her maybe more than me. I don't want him to be mad at me, and I believe that's the position he will take. The kid got slaughtered by his real mom, and I don't think he is mentally, emotionally capable of dealing with another similar situation. He just wants it to go away. While not having to go through the financial mess again is a serious bonus. Last time it was 2 years, then a 1-year appeal by the ex. Cost several $100,000. Disgusting. But in the end, I got the opportunity to raise my kids, and for that, any price would have been worth it. I am not worried about dating opportunity, as I never seem to have had a problem with that. I'm certainly not 25, lost some hair, but in good shape. Once I gained back the pounds I didn't need to lose, down 23 and losing daily. I am a decent looking guy and I have done well financially, but that stuff means nothing to me. What bothers me is the fact that I just won't have a life partner. The cheater and I had raised our kids together after the divorce, pulled each other out of deep dark holes and stood by each other with pride. It just felt like we would always be together, and maybe I took that for granted. Not blaming myself for her screwing someone, it just tears me up that I had another failure. I pride myself on succeeding, and I worked hard at it, and it went off the rails. I need an outlet, like an infidelity group or something. I am retired. I have no idea what to do with myself all day. She's just gone, and I don't even want to wake up in the morning. I have been selling things around my house, and I want to move to a smaller place, but when I look at new homes, I feel so ridiculously lonely it's just not going to be possible. Plus, I raised my kids here, and I am going through some empty nest stuff too on top of this infidelity crap. Just so messed up on so many levels. I was around my house all day saying I just can't believe it. I never will. I don't have any of the signs of codependency from what I know, just going through a very emotional time and hard letting go of a woman I believed in. She, on the other hand, has every single trait of the definition of codependency, and I didn't previously even know what that is. She was always saying, I'm just not good enough, I'll never get it right, didn't have one relationship outside of ours, not one hobby, nothing. Our relationship defined who she was. I am, and was through the relationship, just the opposite. I am in counseling, and I believe I need someone versed in PTSD because I have been through a lot, and I am not just referring to divorce and infidelity. A real lot. I will eventually bounce back, and I will probably have fun meeting people and new women at some point, but right now my mind is just broken. I never thought I would trust after my ex-wife cheating, and maybe my codependency issues made me feel extra safe. Everything she did for us. I always felt safe and I feel so duped, it is just overwhelming. I will get there, I hope. But I will forever be disappointed that I didn't get forever with the woman who saved my life when I was in the depths of hell. I loved her more than anyone I have ever loved without question and trusted her more too. I will never completely trust again. It is just a mess. My happiness was tied to her but not dependent on her. I realize already the future doesn't have any place for her in my life, and I will be happy without her. Probably happier than I would have been had she stayed. As I have said, my biggest disappointment in this is the lack of continuity and long-term shared experiences. The next person in my life most likely will not have unless it is someone from my past, which I guess could happen. I never went to therapy with her. We had one call 2 days after D-Day with a person we had talked to about my daughter years ago. It was a forum for her to assassinate my character. Never did it again. I shut her off and blocked all outlets on Friday and will probably never speak to her again. Best day emotionally I've had since D-Day, and going out tomorrow night with friends and Thursday night with my daughter. Not going to be a puppy dog for long. I realize it's a long road, but I'm going to push rather than lie down. I haven't talked to her. She stopped by on Thanksgiving, played me, and I shut her off the next day from any and all contact. She's blocked on everything. I think that's pretty good from D-Day to no contact in 20 days. And very many of those 20 days were no contact. She's moved on. I need to accept it and move on too. Going to be a while before I feel great, but I think I'm starting down a different path, anger, and it feels good. We never did really consider counseling, but had one meeting with a counselor we had used previously. It sucked. Sorry if that's too pathetic for you. I set her off on last Friday. I am struggling a lot today. My biggest setback is she is now talking to my friends, and in fact my best friend's wife, telling them I never cheated on him, and even on the same exact day she came here and told me she is dating this new guy. She spoke to my friend's wife on the phone an hour earlier and told her the guy I had told my friend's wife she was seeing a couple months ago. We are just friends. I had a guy friend see her out 2 nights later holding hands and kissing her friend. It's not bad enough to try to just say screw her about the cheating, but now she's hitting close to home with my son and my best friends and sowing her lies. Makes it all fresh every day. I am actually afraid to have the discussion with my son. He's 25, and as I've said on here, this woman picked him up and loved him when his own mother wouldn't. I don't think he cares what she did to me, and it would break my heart to confirm that with some crap about I'm going to have a relationship with her regardless, which is his right. But it's how he acts, almost mad at me for telling him things sometimes. And he has or will be told by her I did not cheat on your father. Would love opinions on how to discuss this with him. He's a good kid, and she was good to him. Since I've had time to think, I do think my son may have already been told her story. It was great though, but seemingly unaffected. I thought he'd be upset, but more or less just said she's screwed up right now. She needs time and space, of which she will be getting plenty of, except from the scrawny older man sleeping her currently. A month later, my struggles are that every single day is Groundhog Day. I wake up, if I've slept, and can't believe someone I trusted like this, that essentially went through my divorce with me, would just abandon me cold turkey and never call me again. She monkeys branch to another guy, much older with nothing in common, but that's not where my problem lies. She abandoned me and has rewritten history, so I am the bad guy and refuses to speak to me. This is the hardest thing emotionally I have ever had to deal with, and I got divorced from a cheating wife when I had 4 young kids. This is infinitely more difficult. I loved her more, and never in my wildest dreams could imagine for a second that she would treat me like this. She had her son drop off Christmas gifts for all my kids, without ringing the bell or anything. My daughters got very angry and told her over text, leave us alone, and never contact me again. It just made it worse for me. So, I wake up every day sad. I don't want fighting, I don't want hatred, gaslighting, etc. The affair is hard enough to process without all this added stuff, and I honestly feel like I will get over her. No doubt, but I highly doubt I will ever get over the hurt of how someone that was my number one just cut my throat and left me for dead. It makes me feel like a crappy person, unlovable, disposable, nasty, from the gaslighting I'm hearing. I have supportive family and good friends, but every day is the same. I feel like not a single one of my close friends, kids understand how bad I'm feeling inside. They offer words of encouragement like just forget about her, get over it, screw her, she's done, get on, match. I appreciate all this, but it is an internal battle 24/7 and I often feel like I just don't know how to fight this battle. So, has anyone tried EMDR? If so, where? App? Therapist? Who? Anyone tried hypnosis for divorce-related anxiety? Medications? I tried meds for 2 days, ended up in the hospital with severe cardiac event. Meditation? If so, how long? What exactly? Acupuncture? Anything else? I know time heals, but I just don't see how or when I might wake up or go to bed or function during the day with no answers to how did I trust someone this much and they were living a double life. Worse, she's told everyone it's not true and it was my fault because of blah blah and shut me off 100%. I don't think I can stop the spinning of my brain, which is constantly searching for an answer that isn't really there to find. It creates a feeling of extreme anxiety and general agitation I just can't quiet. Anyway, sorry this is long. I have been struggling since Christmas, as in the past it was such a great day for our families, and she was the leader. It killed me that he was less than a mile away living her new life. No text, nothing. To be expected, but it all just seems so wrong. Hometown sweetheart gone ugly for some old rich out-of-state guy. Some days I think I will be okay, but most I just don't. It is just so unbelievable to me, more so because of who I thought she was all along, and how we were in a good place. I know maybe she was not. Talking and planning the future for years, literally talking about getting married, and seriously overnight, she's a different human being. The time of year definitely doesn't help. I miss her so much I can't stand a minute of the day. 8 weeks I didn't think I'd be crying randomly. Your post makes me feel a little more normal, which is a huge help. I have thought I can't do this for that much longer at times. It is very challenging to wake up every day with ridiculous anxiety, spend the day a mess and go to bed and cry. Last night I went to get takeout with my daughter and I went in while she waited outside. I felt fine. Waiting in the restaurant for the food, a song came on, killed me. I started crying right there, went out and couldn't get in the car because I didn't want her to know. I finally did. She said what could have happened in there, but she knew. I just said, it hurts, buddy. She put her hand on my arm and said, it's okay, Dad. She's priceless, but my heart is in 1,000 tiny fragments. I probably do have PTSD from going through this before, and now this betrayal. It's so unreal. I did get divorced, which took 3 years, trial, appeals, you name it. Terrible anxiety-producing stuff. This woman came into my life during that time, so I wasn't totally alone much and did have my young kids for a distraction and full-time hands-on dad. It was a busier time, so maybe that's what helped. I have spent a lot of alone time over the years because of the divorce, and the past 18 months because my so had moved to Rye to her beach house while we worked and getting my kids onto the next step, college and apartment. She should have stayed, and I knew this would probably like our relationship just because of loneliness and opportunity, but I just trusted her and we were friends. I visited her often. I'm still shocked, as are all of my friends and family. It just doesn't fit what people thought, especially me, and I knew her intimately for 12 years and friends have known her for 40 or more. She had her son drop off gifts, and the girls got pissed. Their whole family is usually with us for Christmas, and they know what she did, and have seen me fall apart, down 30 pounds while she is dating. Doesn't take a genius to figure out who is being honest here. They wanted to bring the gifts back. I said no. I didn't want her kids to be mad at my kids, so I took the gifts into the garage where they remain unopened. Eventually they will go back or get donated. I agree, this was her acting out for her to feel good. It didn't go as planned. Then the conversation here turned to texting her. I asked them not to. My oldest, most impulsive daughter says, I just texted her, leave us alone as we are having the discussion about impacts of your words, etc. My younger daughter texted her as well, after a lot of time and consideration. I think her text had an impact. I didn't ask what she wrote, but the next day I asked if she had heard back. Her reply to me was, I ended with, don't ever reach out to me again. This kid has always been labeled our caring kid and was raised by her since 7. So it's getting ugly now, which I didn't want, but can't say she doesn't deserve it. As Young at Heart said, she is human and humans do stupid things sometimes. Someday I hope to feel the forgiveness. I say I forgive her when I am lying in bed at night, for me, but I'm very sure I don't believe it yet. She was very good to us all for a long time. Honestly, this is so strange. I do feel like she knows she is really screwing up her life, but she's in too deep. I'm sure I'm not the only delusional ex that thinks that, but our families were really close and intertwined. Kids went to school together, played sports together, grew up together. Her and I both grew up in the same town, school, many common friends, and she's moving on to upper level, with the mansion and money. He only has children in their 40s, looks like a beaten chicken, and lives most of the year several hours away. And he's 15 years older than her. I can't see it, but I can't understand much of this at all. I was proud of my kids supporting me, but I was frustrated with the fact that I asked them not to be reactive, and they were. I told them I wanted them to write, and wait 24 hours to send, as that is sometimes helpful in preventing saying something you can't take back. I am lucky in some regards that I did not marry again, and I realize that every day. So, she was there while you were getting divorced with your first wife. Yes, while I was getting divorced and technically still married. My divorce dragged on for 3 years with appeals. I didn't want anything to do with her for a while, but over time that changed. It is absolutely crippling to wrap my head around her doing this. Just the last person I would ever in my life guess, based on our relationship and where we were at the time, but you are absolutely correct. It sickens me and saddens me beyond words. I will return the gifts tomorrow. There are 2 cards on the top of the large box with 2 of my girls' names on the cards. I wish one of the girls would write "No thanks, cheater" on the card, but I don't want to encourage or direct them to feel or write. But it would be nice to have her son see the cheater reference, because I am sure he doesn't know and never will. He's 24. I can and will get over her, although it will not be easy. So much invested, and I am not a quitter, nor do I take losing very well. I like to fix problems, not run from them, and this won't allow any of this. So, it's counter to who I am and have always been. That being said, I can't relax at all. I feel like my heart is constantly about to explode. This is something I need to address, and I'm not sure how to, but I don't want to have a heart attack on her behalf while she's having the time of her life dating. I'm sure this will always hurt, like you said. I just need to get it too manageable. The instantaneous cutoff from all contact with her is what hurts the most, like I didn't matter. Don't matter, and it's all my fault. I hate that I never got the exit interview. I needed it. I am having PTSD-type symptoms every night. I wake up several times a night and can't breathe and have rapid and pounding heart. It's awful, and I don't control it, nor can I get it to stop at all. I am going to try hypnotherapy and possibly EMDR, but this is unreal. I feel like I'm going to have a severe heart attack or a stroke. It's scary, and I don't know how to control it. I can't. Like comment. I know it's difficult, but keep your mind occupied on other things. Positive things. Goal-orientated. The betrayal that is felt is not going to go away overnight. If you let go of her, your memory of her will slowly fade away. Story 2. What would you do in this situation? You've been married for 11 years. You and your spouse are sitting in your living room with your 3 young children watching TV when the phone rings. The name of the caller comes up on the TV screen, and you see that it's an out-of-the-blue call from someone you had dated for 7 years, parted ways with amicably, and hadn't had contact with in 15 years. Your spouse recognizes that name and knows that it's someone you had dated for 7 years. How would you handle the phone call? A. Not answer it. B. Answer it, but keep the conversation cordial and very brief, perhaps 5 minutes or less. C. Answer it, and have an in-depth conversation, perhaps up to 45 minutes, catching up on what's happened in each other's lives since last seeing each other. This was a real situation that occurred with me. My wife's former boyfriend of 7 years, who contacted her out of the blue 15 years after having no contact, called to find out whether she would be attending their class reunion, which was to take place 2 days after he called. She told him that she would not be attending the reunion, but went on to spend 45 minutes speaking with him, catching up on what had been going on in their lives since they last spoke 15 years prior. After the phone conversation, I told her that I felt as though it was inappropriate for her to spend 45 minutes speaking with him. She replied, "I just had to know how he was doing." I asked her whether it ever crossed her mind that it might be inappropriate or disrespectful to me to engage in such a long conversation while I was in the next room watching out 3 young children. She replied that because she thought nothing of it, it never crossed her mind that it was disrespectful or inappropriate. Did I overreact and let my jealousy get in the way of my thinking rationally about this? Did I offend my wife by acting as if I didn't trust her? My wife and I have been married for more than 30 years. When we first met, we were attracted to each other for a variety of reasons, one of which was that we both shared a common value, remaining virgins until we were married. Before I go any further, I respectfully ask that you not hijack this thread to interject your thoughts and opinions regarding why we valued virginity, whether it's normal or abnormal, whether it's good or bad, or right or wrong. Above all, please don't tell me the past is past, just let it go. That's not the point of this thread. I'm not seeking advice on how to get over it. 11 years into our marriage, my wife received a telephone call out of the blue from a guy she dated for 7 years and hadn't heard from in 15 years. He wanted to find out whether she would be attending their upcoming class reunion that was to take place a few days later. After speaking with her former boyfriend for 45 minutes, my jealousy got the best of me and I began to ask her questions about her past relationship with him. Much to my dismay, she informed me that she had indeed had a physical relationship with him, even though she told me while we were going out that she was a virgin. It later came out that she had also had physical relations with 2 other guys prior to meeting me. Having lived under the belief that she and I were each other's only ones, I was absolutely shocked and deeply disappointed to find out after 11 years of marriage that such was not the case. From that point, which was decades ago, through the present, and more than 30 years into our marriage, I am affected by my inability to get over my wife's past. After having gone through this for decades, I just found out that it is something called retroactive jealousy, which has ties to obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. To find out more about retroactive jealousy, research it online and watch YouTube videos which feature stories from individuals who experience it. My question is this: do any of you suffer from retroactive jealousy? If so, I would like you to share what it is like for you. In other words, what are your symptoms? How often does it affect you, etc.? Also, are you optimistic that it will go away, or do you see it as a permanent condition? Here is what makes this so difficult. With the exception of her being dishonest with me about the virginity issue, I couldn't ask for a more wonderful wife and mother of our children. She puts everyone before herself and has lived her day-to-day life in accordance with such high values that it makes me exceptionally proud to be her husband and thankful that she is my wife. In response to your statement, there had to be a reason that she didn't want to lose you. Here is the reason. During her high school and college years, she felt as though sleeping with her boyfriends was the normal thing to do. All of her closest friends were doing it, and every guy she dated expected it. When she met me, one who was committed to remaining a virgin until marriage, she saw something that she had never seen in any of her previous boyfriends. That she could be loved and show love without having to have slept together before marriage. While she had not lived her life like that prior to meeting me, she developed a deep regret for her past decisions and, from that point forward, made a commitment to give herself only to the man she would marry. We dated for 3 years prior to getting married. During that time we refrained from sleeping together. So, the woman I dated was indeed one who was committed to the same values as me. It just took her a little longer to discover what truly mattered most to her and who she wanted to become. As people, we grow into the person we want to become through our life experiences. When I found out about her prior lifestyle 11 years into our marriage, I asked her why she was not upfront with me when we were dating. She told me that I was the first guy she had ever met who demonstrated the values that she truly admired in a man, values that she herself wanted to live, which she did indeed live during the entire 3 years we dated. She lied to me because she was afraid to lose me, the man who was different than any man she had ever met in her life. While it was very painful for me to hear the truth, I commend her for being honest with me when I asked her about her prior relationships. I can't begin to imagine how difficult it must have been for her to divulge the truth, because we love each other so much and she knew that it would hurt me deeply. The toughest part of all this is that we love each other so much, yet decades into our marriage, the retroactive jealousy issue persists. And is something that I feel the pain of on an ongoing basis. At the same time, she goes through the pain of watching me go through it and feeling responsible for causing such hurt to the person she loves most. By now, my wife is sick and tired of discussing this. Each time we discuss it, it's very painful to her, seeing the degree to which she has hurt me. In a recent discussion, she described herself as feeling helpless and hopeless when it comes to helping me get through this. As painful as it is for her to be a part of helping me get through this, I would like her to be immersed in this right along with me, as I feel as though I'm in this alone because the topic is difficult for her to deal with. I need her to support me, but I don't know exactly what that might entail. My wife sees nothing wrong with having spoken with her ex-boyfriend. On several occasions, she said that the thought that of anything being wrong with it never even crossed her mind because, by the time they broke up, they saw each other more as friends than lovers. So, to her, the conversation was nothing more than simply catching up with a friend she hadn't seen in several years. Months later, when my wife and I were dating, I made it clear to her that I would remain a virgin until marriage, due to religious beliefs, and that I had the same requirement, of the woman I would marry. She told me that she wholeheartedly agreed with my values and assured me that she was indeed a virgin and would remain one until our wedding night, should we end up getting married. For me, the most difficult part is that I love my wife more than anyone else in this world. To feel betrayed by the one I love the most is difficult, whether the betrayal happened yesterday or 30 years ago. There's no limit on the period of time one can continue to experience the negative feelings that come from feeling betrayed. My comment: so, she dated a guy for 7 years and had the courage to tell you that they didn't sleep together. And you actually believe she hadn't had. OP is not a victim. They deserve each other. He was in denial when he married her for believing she was a virgin when she had a 7-year relationship. Now, he woke up and can't let the past go. I don't get why she married a man who valued virginity. Why she thought it was a good idea. Did she think that once he fell in love with her, he will let it go? Nope.